I understand he's violent. I understand he kills people. I want to be a vampire. I like him more than Mr. Darcy. I don't know why, don't ask me. There is nothing logical about why we love our book boyfriends, okay? Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talk about writing, philosophy, books, and pretty much whatever I want. My name is Kate, thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm really excited for today's video because I'm doing a book boyfriends tier ranking. I did a tier ranking of every book I have ever rated 5 stars a few days ago, and I had so much fun doing that. Quick disclaimer for the book boyfriends that I will be mentioning, the majority of them are from books. A few of them are just fictional men in general, from TV shows, movies, whatever. Okay, so let's just go over these tiers real quick. These are all quotes from Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version. The top tier, which is the S tier, is "You have bewitched me, body and soul." I think this is pretty self-explanatory. These are the book boyfriends that you would have married yesterday if you could have. They have bewitched you. I mean, what else is there to say? The A tier is "I'm quite at my leisure." This is a quote that Mr. Bennet says after Elizabeth tells him that she's in love with Mr. Darcy, so it's like a feeling of, wow, I'm just overcome with joy. You're not quite S tier, but like, wow, what an amazing person. And then the next tier, the B tier, is "This is a charming house." So it's kind of like, well, it's good, it's not bad, it's like somewhere in the middle. And then "What excellent boiled potatoes." This is the D tier, so at least they're trying. And then the last one is "Inferior birth," which is something that Lady Catherine hurtles at Elizabeth towards the end of the movie. Says she has inferior birth. I know like all the quotes of this movie. We're not surprised. I think it also goes without saying these are just my opinions. These are the men that I personally find, fit into these tiers. I will take into account how I know popular culture feels about them, how other people feel about them. We have 44 book boyfriends here, so let's just get into it. I also have this picture of a mountain down here that I accidentally added into the tier rankings, so don't mind that. We'll sort the mountain at the end. First, we have Roads from All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This book is very popular. I know a lot of people love this guy for whatever reason. I did not like him. I'm not into the whole older, broody, severe man who doesn't seem to have a sense of humor. I wouldn't say he's inferior birth. I think he would be "What excellent boiled potatoes." It's gonna be really hard to not say all of these quotes in an accent. Like, okay, he's not the worst, he does try, he gets better, but I'm just not into a dad who's gonna severely ground his son for over 6 months. Okay, next we have Asriel from the ACOTAR series. I know that we don't know a ton about him, but that's what makes him intriguing. He's mysterious. He has been said to look a lot like Rhysand. He's got some magical powers. He's the shadow singer. I think that's the right shadow something. So I'm gonna put him in "This is a charming house" because I want to know more. I hope that book 6 of ACOTAR focuses on him because it's been 5 books of knowing very little about Mr. Asriel, shadow singer here. I also, weirdly, when I rank the men in ACOTAR, Asriel is usually above Rhysand for me. I don't know why, don't ask me. There is nothing logical about why we love our book boyfriends, okay? Next we have, oh, you can't even see who this is. Cassian from ACOTAR. Again, it's literally just his torso in this picture. I didn't know that would happen. I'm gonna put him also in "This is a charming house." Again, like, these are my rankings. They either do it for me or they don't. I know so many people love Cassian. He's their favorite. He's like big himbo energy, which is, we love a good himbo, obviously. I just can't get over the fact that it's just literally his torso. I like him, I do. I think, honestly, part of the issue, and believe me, it's a me issue, is the fact that he has long hair. I've never been into men who have long hair. I don't know, maybe that's the reason. I've never really been into jock types. And he's definitely like the jock of the 3 guys in the Night Court. So yeah, this is a charming house. Next we have, who did I use him for in this picture? Oh, that's right, okay. So here's the thing. These next 2 guys on here are the same actor. And I sort of got really into this actor while I was reading The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley, because in The Terror, which is by Dan Simmons, this actor, Tom Weston Jones, plays Commander Gore in The Terror. I started imagining him as this other character. This all sounds very confusing. I'm so sorry. I imagined him as David in The Angel's Game by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I don't know why, that's just what my brain said. I loved David in The Angel's Game. I think David is well-spoken, he's intelligent, he's passionate. He doesn't use the women in his life for his own physical gratification. He treats them like human beings, which is like, okay, bars in hell. He has female friends. He cherishes them. He cares about them. He's brave. So for me, I'm gonna put David into You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul, because why not? I don't think he was meant to be seen as a book boyfriend, but again, like I said earlier, there is no telling why some of us will love a character, okay? Hear me out, all right? Next we have Commander Gore, Ministry of Time. Again, same actor. I'm going to put Commander Gore in I'm Quite at My Leisure because, again, brave, honorable, respectful. It's really funny in the book because, well, actually, I don't want to spoil it, but like, it's a romance, so obviously, like, you know that they get together, but the way that he goes about trying to be with the main character, I thought was so endearing and sweet. And again, I was just picturing Tom Weston Jones the entire time, so that just made me fall for him even more. Okay, next, we have this guy. I don't know what his name is. He's from the show Turn on AMC. I don't think this is on TV anymore. I have never seen it. I don't know a thing about it, but on my Pinterest, I kept seeing photos of this man and I'm like, who is that? I need to know. If any of you have seen Turn, let me know. And maybe this is the guy who turns. I don't know. Maybe this is, what is his name? Benedict Arnold? I don't know. Maybe my ranking isn't going to reflect who the character actually is, but I'm just going by the aesthetic, okay? We have a uniform, he's very handsome. I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House, because again, I need to know more at some point. If you'll notice, all of these men are either in uniform of some kind or they're from the 1800s. Next we have Daddy Dalinar Kholin from the Stormlight Archives. You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. Absolutely, I love him. I love him so much. He is, again, honorable, strong, takes no shit, defends the women in his life. He's only ever loved one woman, Navani, that's right. Now, okay, if you've read the series, you can argue like his past wasn't so great when it comes to women, and I'm like, that's all in the past, okay? Have you ever heard of forgiveness? People change, you know? I imagine him to be everything that I would want in a man, so he goes in. Next we have a little character named Dracula from Dracula by Bram Stoker. Yeah, You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. Again, don't ask me, okay? Don't ask me the logic behind this. There is none. I understand he's violent. I understand he kills people. I understand that he sucks their blood and turns them into a vampire. But you know what? I want that to happen to me, okay? I want to be a vampire and go live in an amazing castle for the rest of my days and be young and hot forever, okay? Don't crush my dreams. He does it for me, okay? That's the other thing that I feel like a lot of people don't understand, or I should say a lot of men don't understand about book boyfriends, is that if any man in real life did these things, the things that men do in books, especially fantasy books, like killing people, it would be a no, okay? It would be absolutely not, but this is fiction. Next we have, oh, I love that this next run of characters here. Next we have Eric from Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Okay, yeah, again, You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. Again, I know, okay? He kills people. He is like obsessed with Christine, is probably very problematic. I get it, but you don't understand. He's only ever loved Christine and he would do anything for her. And he is a genius musician. He's an opera ghost. I mean, what more could you want? Next we have John Thornton from North and South. I had never heard of North and South until this year, and honestly, I like him more than Mr. Darcy, which I know is saying a lot. It's like, who are you? So I'm gonna put him again in You've Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. I feel like so many of the men up here, minus Dracula and Eric probably, exemplify everything that I want in a man. John is this character who, yes, he's a little severe in the beginning towards his workers, but he's doing what he thinks is right in a very difficult time in history. He runs this company, he takes care of his mother and sister, and he just falls head over heels for Margaret, and the way he courts her and treats her is just, again, top tier for me. He's probably my favorite historical romance figure, and talking about him just makes me want to watch North and South again. Next we have Adolin Colin, which this picture is mostly a horse, so sorry about that, but I could not find any fan art of him that I liked. This is the only one that I was like, that looks how I imagined him. I'm gonna put Adolin at I'm quite at my leisure. He's a himbo, for sure, just like Cassian, but he's just really sweet and goofy. Like Cassian I don't think of as like a goofy Mr. Torso down here. I don't think of as like goofy. I think Adolin is. He's very brave. He's respectful of Shallan and what she's going through. He matches her freak, you know what I mean? Like she is this badass assassin and he's just like cool with it. And he's, you know, Dalinar's son, so apples and trees and all of that. Next we have Colonel Brandon from Sense and Sensibility, the 1992 version, I think. He's going straight to You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. Alan Rickman in this role was my very first crush as a girl. I think at like 5 or 6 years old, I loved him so much. The yearning, the desire for Marianne, but he doesn't do anything to overstep any boundaries. Like he's respectful and honorable. Again, I feel like I'm using those words a lot, but you can see that ends up putting all these people in the S tier for me. But yeah, I just loved him so much. I read the book though, and I have to admit that the age gap really does bother me quite a lot in hindsight. I guess in the movie, you don't feel that way because the actors, I mean, there's still a pretty big age gap. So that's the only issue with historical romance, is that usually the man's like in his 30s or 40s and the girl is like literally a girl still. She's 17 or 18, which I don't like, but I love this character so much. Again, more men in uniforms. Next we have Captain Wentworth from Persuasion. This is the one with Ciarán Hinds. It's from the 90s. I really like this movie a lot. I'm gonna put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure because that letter that he writes to Anne at the end is so beautiful. I'm half agony, half hope. I mean, who talks to anybody that way anymore? Like, I wish that that was still a thing. The only reason I wouldn't put him in You Have Bewitched Me is just because, for me personally, he doesn't quite have that level for me, but he's still, like, would marry him if he asked me. Okay, next we have Kaladin from the Stormlight Archives. I know that, like, a lot of people really love Kaladin. I'm not a huge fan of him. He's fine. It's the same thing with Rhodes. Like, there's just this broody thing that I'm really not into broody men. Like, I don't care. Go to therapy. I know he's been through a lot. I know that he's badass with his powers and whatever. So for me, I'm gonna put him in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes. Okay, next we have Elm Rowan from the One Dark Window duology. I'm torn between This Is a Charming House and I'm Quite at My Leisure because while I was reading the book, I loved his character. I don't think about him a lot. You know, all the characters in You've Bewitched Me, I think about probably like they're my Roman Empire. I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House. Even though I really liked him a lot, I loved how he took care of Ione. He was so sweet. It's not often that you can find a man who's going to hold you when you're crying and says to you that he'll be there with you through all of it and he can take it, you know? He doesn't like shy away from emotion, so I really like that a lot. Yeah, I think this is fair for how I personally feel. Next we have Wendell Bambleby from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I did not care for him. He's very prissy. He gives like pretty boy energy, which again is not a thing that I'm into. I absolutely loved it though when he lost that composure and did something to defend Emily in book 1. So for me, he's gonna be bumped up from Inferior Birth to What Excellent Boiled Potatoes. That was hot, okay? Not gonna lie. Next we have a little character called Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. For me, I'm going to put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure. I know. How could I not put him in his own quote? He's too perfect. I guess. Or at least he's viewed as being so perfect in literature that I'm just like, there's something about that turns me off. I don't like it when men are too perfect, when their characters are too perfect. I know, like, he's an asshole in the beginning, he's prideful, like, I get it. I could never see myself with Mr. Darcy. I think that's part of why he's not an S tier. Next we have Thomas Cresswell from the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. One of the most surprising series I have encountered because I didn't think I would like it. It's young adult, it's quite gory, but I just finished the series and I miss it. I miss reading it. I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House, and a major reason for that is because I didn't realize until the last book that he turns 18 in the last book, and in my mind I had already like aged him and Audrey Rose up by like 10 years, so that kind of made me like, oh, this is a child, you know, like I don't care that this is 1889 or something, like that's a little Next we have Jack from Love Theoretically. I've got to be honest with you, I do not remember Jack at all. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put him in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes, just because I don't remember anything that he does. The only thing I remember is that he's like cool with the fact that the main character has diabetes, which again, bars in hell. But I need to reread the book because I do remember liking him a lot. So this is just for now. It's a miracle I can remember all of the names of these characters because I swear all of these men look so similar. But next we have Zaid from Haunting Adeline, and this man is going straight to inferior birth. I'm sorry, I do not get the hype. I do not understand why so many women thirst for this man. He is a stalker, okay? He kills a lot of people for like, I don't know, the logic in the book makes no sense. He just like does it because he can. But he literally stalks the main character, breaks into her house, does weird shit with her, assaults her, you know, all this stuff. And so like, no. Not even in fiction do I want that. I want the main character to treat the protagonist sweetly, like with care, you know? So for me, inferior birth. I would probably put him even below that if I could. Next we have Jacob from Twilight. I don't like him very much. I don't like how pushy he was with Bella in the later movies. He was fine in the second one. I don't like that he imprints on an infant. So I'm gonna put him in inferior birth for sure, but like no one is more inferior birth than Zaid, so I'm gonna put him in front there. Next we have Lucien from ACOTAR. I really like Lucien. I feel bad for him. I would be happy if he ended up with Elaine, but I don't. I think he deserves better. I really do. So I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House because he hasn't done anything wrong and she just like hates him. I personally wouldn't want to be with Lucien. I don't know. Oh, next we have Sir Harwin Strong from House of the Dragon. I really liked him a lot. I remember he was only in the series a few scenes, so we barely got to know anything about him, but again, this is where I'm going to be a hypocrite because he's a dad, you know, he has a child with Rhaenyra and he's just so proud of the child, even though in those times having a bastard is seen as a bad thing, but he's so sweet and loving and he's strong. I'll put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure, even though like I would need to know more about him in general, and he has long hair. See, again, like I know I'm a hypocrite, okay? Okay, next we have Bill Pullman, who played Jack in While You Were Sleeping. This is a movie from my childhood. I grew up watching this. I loved him so much. Again, there's just something about restraint that I love when a man is in love with a woman, but she is otherwise engaged or she's not ready or whatever, and he just yearns for her, but he doesn't overstep boundaries. That's so sweet. And I don't know, I just really liked his character a lot. So I'm gonna put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure because I really like him. I loved him. Okay, next we have Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. I had a bit of a crush on him for a little while. I mean, he's brave, he's smart, a little sassy, you know? I'm gonna put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure Also, I mean, it's Indiana Jones. He's an icon. Next, we have Leopold from Kate and Leopold. This is Hugh Jackman. This is a movie I think that came out in like the early 2000s. It's so funny. He's like really sweet. Again, like this honorable guy. Another uniform. Okay, we're seeing a pattern. I would also put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure. This movie talks about time travel too. Seems like a lot of my favorite books or series have something to do with time travel. Okay, Gomez Addams from the Addams Family. We've all seen those memes that are like, not all men. You're so right. Gomez Addams would never. He loves his wife so much. I'm gonna put him in I'm Quite at My Leisure because who doesn't want to be with a man who's just absolutely in love with you? And he's not like super pretty either. Like he's handsome in his own way, right? That's the thing I can't stand so much about fan art for a lot of these characters is they all look the same. There's no character on their face. That's why I love the older Jane Austen adaptations because Alan Rickman, Karen Hines, they're not like the classically handsome men, but they are handsome in their own way and in how they carry themselves. And I think that is so much better than the way that so many of these pretty boys have taken over, especially in modern adaptations. Next, we have Adam Carlson from Love Hypothesis. I remember really liking him a lot. I remember him way more than Jack from Love Theoretically, but I don't remember him enough to know if I would want to be with him. I know this is like a Raylo retelling or something, a Raylo fan fiction. I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House. Okay, next we have Atlas Corrigan from It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us. This actor I think is extremely handsome. Okay, so that's factoring into my decision here. If I ever had someone play Dr. Harlan, who's the love interest in my book, I would want him to play him, probably. He's the only actor I've seen who I feel like kind of looks like the character, but he gets with Lily in the books when she's underaged. He's like 18 and she's 16, and I just don't like that. I don't think that's right. When they're all grown up, he, still loves her and wants to protect her. He's a safe haven for her, which is really sweet, but I can't quite get past the underage thing. And I feel like nobody talks about that part. For that reason, I'm going to put him in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes. I love saying that. Many years since I've had such an exemplary vegetable. To which of my fair cousins should I compliment the excellence of the cooking? Next, we have Charlie from Twilight. Okay, I know that like a lot of people in recent years have been thirsting for Charlie. Again, single dad, a bit gruff, kind of like Rhodes. I'm gonna put him in This Is a Charming House though, because it's like understated gruffness, It's like he's lonely, you can tell. He just needs someone to take care of him. He's got the cop mustache, which I very much enjoy. I know a lot of people don't, but I like it. Bridgerton, that's right, I forgot I included them. So we have the guy from the first season, whose name I don't remember, and that's because I don't like him. I'm putting him in an inferior berth. I don't know, he just has this prideful, arrogant quality to him that I just don't like. I can't even remember his name. I don't care. I don't think about you ever. Okay, next we have Will Mondrich from Bridgerton. I don't know a lot about him, but that is a fine man, okay? But again, I don't know much about him other than he was a fighter, is a fighter, he loves his wife. So I guess I will put him in This Is a Charming House. I need to know more though. Okay, next we have Raven Yu from the One Dark Window series, and I really liked Raven. This fan art is not at all how I envisioned him, so that kind of took me down a peg, I guess, because I could not find someone who I thought looked the way I imagined him. I'm going to put him in What a Charming House, because again, he's not like a character I think about a lot, but I remember enjoying him in the book. Next we have Colin Bridgerton. I thought he was so weird in the third season. What is this? This like peacocking, winking ladies man, like no. I did not care for him. I thought that they sort of overacted in the third season. I'm gonna put him in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes. I don't know. I don't feel the tingles when I think about him. Okay, next we have Rysand from the ACOTAR series. I mean, obviously most people would put him at the tippy top of S tier, For me, I'm going to also put him in S tier, but not at the very top. He's too pretty for me. He's too chiseled. He's got that too perfect thing going on that I feel like Mr. Darcy has. There's certain fan art of him that makes me go, ooh, ooh. This is the most popular fan art that's used for him though, usually. Like some of it's a little heavy-handed. I think he's a little too overly sexed up sometimes. But I mean, he's amazing. He's the High Lord of the Night Court, and he makes damn sure that his wife is the same, or his mate, sorry. Next we have Commodore Norrington from the Pirates of the Caribbean series. I had such a crush on him at the time. Again, another uniform! I don't know, there's something about these old naval uniforms that really does it for me. He is a bit boring though. He's a little too honorable, or at least in the first movie, but I liked him. Out of the three, between Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, and Commodore Norrington, I liked him the best. You know what? Yeah. He deserves it, especially after being rejected and what happens to him. I'm quite at my leisure. That's where I'm gonna put him. Okay, now we have Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. Now, I was so into him, like, I don't know, 2 years ago. Jim Hopper season 3, if you know, you know. This little colorful shirt that he wears, I get the feeling that he's never loved anyone else. He loves taking care of Eleven. He's so protective. He's funny. He's a big burly dude. For me, I think I'm going to have to put him in You Have Bewitched Me. The ardor on my side has gone down a little bit since then, but I remember how I felt at the time. I mean, he does smoke though. You know what? I'm gonna keep him there though. I'm just gonna pretend he doesn't smoke. Okay, next we have Kaz Brekker from the Six of Crows duology. There is no way this character is 17. He has to be at least mid-20s to be the way that he is. So in my mind, he is aged up significantly. So for that reason, I have to knock off a few points. He's also kind of a psychopath, but not in the sense that like a serial killer is. Like he does have feelings. He's just too scared to admit that he has feelings. But he's really a cool character. Very resourceful, very cunning and tricksy. He cares about Inej a lot, even if, again, he doesn't want to admit it. I'm gonna put him in What a Charming House. Next we have Edward Cullen from Twilight. I was never like into Edward. I just liked vampires more than werewolves, so I said I was Team Edward at the time. I'm going to put him in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes because I don't think about him ever. I don't think he has any qualities to him that I feel like I would want in a real man, let alone a book boyfriend. I mean, he's 17, even though he's like, I don't know, 150 or something. Why are you in high school still? Next we have a little character named Tamlin. Everybody hates him. They call him Tampon. I know a lot of people hate him. I think it's a little blown out of proportion. This man deserves some help. He needs some therapy. He doesn't deserve to die alone. Like, okay, I get it. He started a war to get Feyre back. I understand he said some horrible things at that one roundtable meeting in book 3, but he doesn't deserve how much shit all the characters give to him. Everybody hates him for like no reason. It's just because I feel like Sarah J Maas wanted someone to dogpile on. It's like that meme from The Simpsons. It's like, stop, he's already dead. I still don't really care about him though, so I'm still going to put him in Inferior Birth, which it kind of negates everything I just said, but like, I don't know, maybe it's because he's blonde. Okay, next we have Carlisle Cullen from Twilight. I love Carlisle. He, hands down, is my favorite of all the vampires in that series. You know what? I'm gonna put him in I'm quite at my leisure. Oh, again, I know I'm being hypocritical because I just said, oh, maybe I don't like Tamlin because he's blonde and Carlisle's blonde. Well, you know what? One has long hair and the other one doesn't, so maybe that's it. Again, don't ask me for logic. He's a daddy. What can I say? Like, he's a doctor. He's a vampire. He takes care of people. That scene with him and Bella was a little too charged, in my opinion. I would have gladly sat in for her. Okay, next we have Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones. I was so obsessed with him when I was watching the first few seasons. Again, I know in the books, Daenerys is like 13 and he's in his 30s, which is obviously horrible. Okay? When we're talking about the TV show, the actress was in her 20s, and he's, I don't know, supposed to be 50s, I think, or 60s, which again is an age gap. So not great, but I just loved how devoted he was to her, how much he clearly loved her. Again, that yearning thing, it does something to me, man. Like, it really does. And his yellow shirt with the blue accent, he's like, I remember somebody said at the time, it's like, I wear this blue thing every day to accentuate my eyes and it doesn't help me at all with Daenerys. I'm going to put him in I'm Quiet at My Leisure. I really liked him at the time. Next we have Captain Von Trapp from The Sound of Music. He's going into You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul. This man, he really did it for me growing up. I thought he was such an exemplary man. I mean, he was a real person. I don't know anything about the real Captain Von Trapp. I'm just talking about the movie. Honorable, takes care of himself, loves his family. He's a bit of a douche at the beginning, but he gets better. He is gentle with Maria. The gazebo scene, oh my god, one of my favorite declarations of love I've ever seen in a movie. Christopher Plummer was so handsome. Okay, last but not least, I mean, got the mountain here. We have Benedict from Bridgerton. I'm not super into the whole polyamory thing, but he's definitely my favorite of the brothers. Oh, did I where's my picture of, I don't have Anthony Bridgerton in here. Well, Anthony Bridgerton I would put in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes if he was here, because I don't like his character at all. I think he was way too obsessed with his sister's purity or whatever it was. Benedict, I will put in What a Charming House, because I like him. I think he's the most attractive of all the brothers. He's the most comfortable in himself. He's artistic. He's not afraid to be vulnerable. He has fun. But the whole, again, the polyamory thing, that bumps him down a bit. And just for fun, let's put the mountain in, let's put that in What Excellent Boiled Potatoes. I don't know how that ended up in here. Let's go ahead and reorder You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul real quick. Who would be my favorite out of all of these? I'm gonna put John Thornton up there. I'm gonna put Dalinar up there. I'm going to put Dracula up there. Okay, you know what? Shh, I don't want to hear it. I'm going to put Colonel Brandon up there. Who would be last on this list? I guess I would put Jim Hopper last. Rhysand. Because, like, okay, I'm gonna put Rhysand in front of Eric, even though I love Eric from Phantom of the Opera. You can't go anywhere with him. You know, his whole thing is like, I need to be the Phantom of the Opera. I'm not going outside. It's a wonder how he even gets any vitamin D. This feels pretty good. My top 4 are John Thornton, Dalinar Kholin, Dracula, and Colonel Brandon. Do with that information to psychoanalyze me however you will. That was so much fun. I love making tier ranking videos, and this one was like a fun little break for me compared to maybe some of the other content I make. And I will absolutely continue to make more tier ranking videos in the future. Let me know down below if I missed any, some of your personal favorites, or just let me know how you were doing, what you think of the video. I would love to know. As always, do not forget to check out my debut romance novel, Under the Same Sky. All of the links will be down below in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you know when I will be posting next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.